So here's the truth of IUI and IVF. I found over the years that when people go directly to the artificial fertility programs, that the traditional fertility specialists do not take into account the couple's lifestyle. Daddy only needs to donate his sperm. They do the semen analysis, and everything is right there, just looking at lab tests. And if those lab tests don't match, then we have to improve the sperm, morphology, motility, mobility. They're going to improve the semen analysis. There is no conversation with daddy. We're just going to talk about daddy first. There's no conversation with daddy about really, and this is what's been told to me over hundreds of couples. They do not talk with daddy about his stress level, how he eats, how much time he's in front of a computer, his exercise regimen, his lack of, and more. His lifestyle is not taken into account. They just look straight to the semen analysis. Is he able to have an erection? How long can he carry that erection? Those are natural. A man's ability to perform sexually and frequently sustained sex, that's important. And that's what we've walked away from that a long time ago when we started really promoting IUI and IVF as the standard in this world, not just in the United States, in this world. This is, I think, a $34.7 billion industry. We have proactively, as a society, and we've convinced couples that if you can't get pregnant in 6 months to a year, no problem. Let's just go straight to IUI IVF. But no conversation with daddy about what's going on with your life. And that's just daddy. So basically, he puts in, he does his stuff, he makes his donation, and that's it. No more conversation with papa. Let's go straight to mommy. All right. With mommy, again, no conversation at all that I remember since 1990. I mean, I started practice in 99, but I really, really started seeing fertility patients since the early 2000s when women were getting these blanket diagnoses of PCOS. And there's no solution for it. You have PCOS, you can't get pregnant, which is absolutely not true because I have helped a lot of women get pregnant naturally with PCOS, endometriosis, and other types of very challenging Western medical diagnoses. When mommy cannot conceive 6 months, a year, or longer, the conversation, or if you're 35 and over, well, we got to go straight to IVF. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 cycles of IUI. And what does that do to her body? So going to IVF, do mommies in the traditional fertility clinics, do they have the conversations with their specialists, their traditional fertility specialists? How's your diet? Where's your stress level? Are you exercising? How is sex? Does it hurt? Are you, not just are you ovulating? We got to get pregnant during ovulation phase. There are ways to get pregnant naturally, but when we're not going to really discuss that right now, but in regards to IUI, IVF, those conversations that I would have in helping couples conceive naturally, they're not brought up with your traditional fertility specialist. They are not. Ask yourself, if they ask, well, let's look at your supplements. Maybe you're taking too many. Maybe you're not taking the right one. Maybe we should go to natural supplements before we go to the invasive drugs, before we go to the invasive treatments. How many IVF couples I had seen, they buy into the, okay, we'll go the first month. Okay, it didn't work. We'll go a second month. We're going to, if it doesn't work, we're going to go to the third month, the fourth month, maybe 1 to 3 months break in between. But I've seen specialists put their patients, our mutual patients, and I'm here just in the background seeing what's going on, offering what little support the patients want to give me. But I had seen over a couple of decades what was going on. And now they're going past 4 IVFs. So into a 5th IVF. Like, it's insane. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, that is the definition of insanity. There needs to be let's stand back and look at the big picture and understand, why is IUI IVF not working for you? But yet we keep selling that as a solution to these couples. We keep selling it that if you can't get pregnant, you need to keep buying these artificial fertility treatments. And it is ridiculous to me that we are not having the more important questions. What's going on at work? How are you feeling emotionally? Do you feel defeated? Are you sad? Daddies also feel defeated that they can't provide the baby to the proper sperm to mommy. Mommies overwhelmingly have written their testimonials after we help them have a baby naturally and say, I felt defeated. I felt that I could not perform. No one ever comes here and says, in the past when I was taking IVF, IUI patients, no one has ever broken down with their doctors their sex life. It's like, are you kidding me? This is the natural way we have a baby. Every mammal on this planet is having sex. And why is that not a critical? Why is that not the crux of the conversation? Can you have an erection? Does it hurt when you have sex? Are you interested in each other? Do you have a strong libido? That question, do you have a strong libido? That is the essence of a couple being together. You did not marry just your friend. You married someone that you want to have a life with. So if you don't want to have sex with that partner that you've chosen to have for a lifetime, there is something fundamentally wrong in your relationship. I've seen mommies say, my their OBGYN determine, or their traditional fertility specialist determine, that their body is allergic to the husband's sperm. The first time I heard that, because I've heard that more than once, so therefore we must have IVF. But they work with me, and all of a sudden, 3, 6, 9 months later, they're having amazing sex and they're no longer allergic. We have to look at the health of mommy and daddy. You have to look at what's going on, the underlying issue, and not so quickly buy into this multi-billion-dollar industry that just wants to sell you artificial fertility. Your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers, your ancestors didn't do it. They got pregnant naturally. Mother Nature knows how to help you get pregnant, but you have to live according to a different lifestyle, and not this 80-mile-an-hour lifestyle, instant gratification lifestyle. Just because you haven't gotten pregnant yet with IUI IVF doesn't mean it's the end game and that's it. Or if you're considering doing IUI IVF, I hope that I'm conveying to you that you don't have to go straight there. You can. And I am living proof. I had my second and third babies at 36 and 43. 43 when I wasn't ovulating, and my periods were perfect. I am 50. Up until the day I stopped having a period, my periods were perfect, but they weren't when I was 20, when I started studying Chinese medicine. There is a way for you to live naturally. You can do it. One of the components is eating better, so that you have your nutritional adequate. You are adequate with what you need nutrition wise. There is a way to exercise so that you're not over exercising and over consuming your energy that could be better used when you're having sex. Did you know that? Did you know that you can over exercise? You can, mommy and daddy. Now, there's a reason why for dads, one of the things it says, one of the recommendations in some supplements, some herbal formulas, some drugs, is for daddy to not sit in a jacuzzi. There's a reason. There's a lifestyle. Sitting down all day, that does matter. Over physically working, that does matter. Thinking too much, that does matter. Oh, well, my IVF specialist never talked about that. Just keep your stress low. Oh, no. That matters. That matters. Are you ruminating? Is this affecting your life? When someone says, what's wrong with you? How come you can't get pregnant? You don't think that affects you subconsciously? You don't think that affects you? When a person feels like they get pregnant they get their period every month, and all she's waiting for is, oh, I'm day 35. I usually get my period around day 30, so maybe I'm pregnant. And that is your hope for the day. And then you get a non-pregnancy test. And then how do you feel, mommy and daddy? How do you feel when it's another month and now it's becoming to look even more appealing to do IVF because you don't know what to do? Or you've done 1, 2, 3, 4 IVFs and there's nothing to do. You've spent whatever, 10,000, 50,000, 200, 250,000. I've heard of that. I've seen it. I've seen it done here where they spent well over 250,000. And I ask for these couples to do exactly what I need them to do, and they get pregnant. So what is the difference? The fundamental difference is that if you know how to live naturally, if you know the proper treatment techniques, the methodologies to live a healthier lifestyle, body, mind, and spirit, you can get pregnant naturally. Your uterus can go from age 40, 43 to, oh wow, the doctors say, what are you doing differently? Your uterus looks beautiful. It looks like that of a 27-year-old, and it's been done over and over and over. Or your AMH is below, detectable, but then they work with me for about 3, 6, 9 months, and all of a sudden their AMH is between a 1 to 4, which is optimum. Or the daddies come in and they're like, oh, my fertility specialist said that I can't get pregnant, I can't get my wife pregnant because my motility or whatever is at 2%, because they're looking at motility, mobility, morphology. And it's, I just got this text the other day, and I showed that client, that fertility client, potential fertility client, proof that I've done it over and over and over, where we went from 2% motility and other, sperm analysis deficiencies to getting to 42% in as little as 2 months, and then getting to 72% in another 8 months, which is 10 months, which is unheard of because the IVF specialist had no answer. So let's transition a little bit. You go to your doctor, you have high blood pressure. It's 190 over 100. And hey, you better take this blood pressure medication, maybe 3, 3 medications very easily, at least 1, beta blockers and all that, but you'll probably be on 3. And they're gonna monitor you for anywhere between 1 to 3 months. And depending on what's going on, that's gonna be, you're going to stay on that blood pressure medication. You can never get off this medication because this is where you are. If you never want to have a stroke, you never want to have a heart attack, this is a medication you need to be on. And it's the trifecta, right? The cholesterol, the diabetes, the hypertension. That's what they want to make sure that we're on. You will never get off this medication. But then these people come and they do proper methods of living naturally. And then all of a sudden, their blood pressure starts going down to 125 over 80. What? And they're like, you know what? I'm going to go to my, my primary care. And then they start lowering. They're like, how's that happening? Oh, your blood glucose starts decreasing. Your cholesterol starts decreasing. Your body knows how to regulate itself, but you have to facilitate that environment. You can't keep eating a certain way and expect different results. It's no different, but with fertility, it's not like blood pressure. It's a lot more intricate. Making a baby is a lot more, there are a lot of variables involved. When couples come in and they are defeated because they don't know why the IUI IVF didn't work, why it didn't work. Well, if you couldn't get it pregnant naturally, then your constitution was not strong enough to conceive and carry to full term. And you were kidding yourself, and the doctors were kidding you with 25, 35, 50% success rates into making you believe, convincing you to believe that, well, if you just do these drugs, you can conceive and carry to full term. Or you can just do it the right way, the way Mother Nature intended, and create yourself a perfect environment, man and woman. And when you conceive naturally, and you are both powerful beings with optimum health to create an optimum baby, an embryo, carrying to full term, creating hopefully a 7, 8, 9+ pound baby, which is what I did. And when you do it right, That's what the outcome is. You have a perfect baby.